Hello everyone, welcome back to Black Heaven, a necromantic dating sim. Let's go ahead and continue.
Oh, thank you, dear. My first roses of the night. Did you enjoy the show?
Lisa's odd expression breaks down into childlike glee.
It was perfect.
With that single sentence, she rushes back to the couch and takes her place between her parents again.
Well, that's a ringing endorsement. And yourselves?
Lisa's mother cuts in and shakes her head, smiling broadly. Ariana, it was incredible. By the sound of the applause, I think it's safe to say you'll be playing Oliviana for the next few decades. It was immaculate, just wonderful. Whatever the critics say, I'll be telling everyone to go at least once. At least. You're a damn good investment, I'll tell you that. Selling your lungs out. It nearly brought me to tears. Lisa's mother glances at Desio for a second, then turns back to Ariana. Don't mind my husband. He sees things in terms of cattle. But truly, I've seen this play performed by at least 3 different sopranos, and yours is by far the most impressive. Lisa doesn't seem to hear the conversation going on around her. Instead, she stares at Ariana, who's still dressed in her costume from the last scene, an opulent ball gown, now dirty and ragged from the streets.
Oh, you're too kind.
There's a knock on the door, and Ariana springs up and rushes over to it. She lets in another well-dressed couple, both of whom seem to be audience members.
Oh, Ferrera and Corzo. Hello, come in.
The couple presses a huge bouquet into Ariana's hands. You can hear them heaping praise on her in low voices. Though their voices are soft, their faces are bright and animated.
Thank you. Have you met? No, I don't think so. This is Ferrera and Corzo. They're members of the theater's board of directors.
Lisa's parents stand up and shake their hands, smiling and laughing quietly.
Have a seat on the couch next to Mr. and Mrs. Bouveau. Oh, there may be a little too room. They may be too little room.
Dear, how about you hop off and sit on the table here? Lisa's father taps on the table near the couch. Ellie slips off the cushions and seats herself on it. The other couple slide onto the couch and they immediately seem to recognize Lisa's parents, leading to an animated conversation that leaves Lise and Ariana politely watching in silence. Eventually, Lise glances over at Ariana from the corner of her eye and swallows.
Sang beautifully. How did you hit those high notes?
Ariana looks over at Lise and grins. She leans closer and whispers so that only Lise can hear her.
It wasn't easy. It took, months of preparation. I was so careful with my voice that I didn't speak for the entire day before I went on stage. Really? Not one word? Not a word. I had to let my vocal cords rest. And on top of that, well, here, hop at that table and help me undo the back of this dress.
Lise gets off the table and walks behind Ariana, who leans forward to expose the line of buttons on the back of the dress. Lise begins unfastening the pearl buttons and parts of the fabric to reveal another garment, a corset with densely packed laces running up Ariana's spine.
You did that whole performance wearing your corset? Yes, it's actually killing me. Can you loosen some of the laces, starting from the top?
Lise begins to tug on the laces, teasing them out of their tiny metal rings.
So you don't actually look the way you do on stage? On good days I do, but they weigh me at every rehearsal we do, and it appears that I was 1 pound over my required weight. My director, Master Raragon, believed that it was imperative that my debut be perfect, and that meant wearing the corset, which, as a young, well-bred girl...
Oriana twists her head to face Elise again, and whispers to her over her shoulder with a pained grin.
I'm sure you know that it hurts like hell.
Elise finishes loosening some of the laces, and Ariana sits up straight again and takes a deep breath.
Thank you, dear. That feels better. Can't people really tell if you're 1 pound overweight? Some people, maybe. The connoisseurs and critics will exploit any flaw they can find, even if it's mostly imaginary. It's not easy being the lead. Everyone's got their eyes on you, waiting for you to fall behind or slip up. So how do you deal with the pressure? That's the key. Once you're used to performing, like me, you start performing all the time, on the stage and off.
There's another knock on the door, and Ariana gets up, quickly buttons up the back of her dress, and rushes to the door. She opens it and squeals as soon as she sees who's on the other side. A pair of performers who are still half dressed in their costumes. They hug Ariana and give her a glass bottle, then run off down the hallway. She shuts the door, crosses back over to her chair near Elise, and sets down the bottle on the table.
Sorry about that. It's always like this after a good show.
Ooh, we got a new CG and it's very cute. After all this depression we went through.
Everyone just comes by and gives you gifts? Gifts, kisses, flowers. After I'm finished greeting all the guests, I'm due at the after party, and that'll be a whole other round of greetings and things.
Ariana's unfocused eyes rest on the ball for a moment, but then she seems to snap out of it.
This is what it's all about. Now that we fooled everybody, we get to bask in the applause. What do you mean by fool everybody? A play is a big trick. It's like a spell you cast on the whole audience full of people. We make the sets and costumes look as real as we can, and it makes people forget that they're just watching people on the stage. That's the magic of opera.
Ariana glances over at Lisa's parents and the other couple, but they're still deep in their bubbly conversation. She looks back at Lisa and holds her finger to her lips. Ariana reaches down the front of her dress, wiggles something, and pulls out 2 curved pieces of porcelain attached by a fabric tether.
Don't tell anyone.
Lisa grins and nods. Ariana quickly slips the porcelain pieces into a drawer and recomposes herself.
What does it take to be a singer like you? Like me? Well, you got to practice a lot, all the time. And not just your singing, but dancing, speaking, everything. The most important of all, and this is something you can't really teach, you just have to know it. You have to practice your stage presence. Like your entrance? No, your presence. It's like your aura. Whenever you walk into a room, all eyes turn to you. Everyone wants to know you or be close to you. If you can master that.
Ariana gives a short shake of her head and closes one eye.
You don't even have to be good at singing.
We see Lisa's father reach over and tap on Lisa's shoulder, causing her to spin around. I think we imposed on Miss Ariana long enough. She has many more guests to meet. Lisa's face falls, but Ariana pats her on the knee.
I'll see you at my next show, right?
Lise breaks into a brilliant smile and nods eagerly.
Of course.
Lisa's parents lead her out of the dressing room, and you follow. For once, the dour attitude of Lisa's mother seems to have lifted as she speaks quietly to her husband. Both have their hands resting on Lisa's shoulders as they walk back to the auditorium. You smell freshly sanded wood and perfume, and you hear hushed voices speaking. When you open your eyes, you find yourself in a dark, narrow corridor, looking out at the bright space lit with dozens of lamps. You see that part of the wall to your left is actually a curtain, and you realize that you're looking out at a stage. There's someone out there singing, but you can't see them. When you glance around, you see that you're surrounded by several people wearing white masks with blank faces. They're wearing tattered white clothes and they're dripping with water. They're supposed to be ghosts, I think. But why are they wet? You walk closer to the edge of the light and peer at the actors on stage. One appears to be a young man dressed in the tattered clothes of a sailor. The other is seated on a rock, propped up on her elbow. Instead of a dress, her lower body is covered in iridescent scales, ending in a wide flute fin. She has seashells woven into her hair, and wears an elaborate corset decorated with abalone and pearls. As she sings, you recognize her voice. Once I dreamt I was a ship upon the sea, with the waves upon my breast and the stars in my eyes. I thought I would sail forever and then forever be at home between the sea and sky. I think that's Ariana. She the lead? Seems like it. From what you can glean from the song, the sailor is declaring his love for the mermaid, and the mermaid woman is returning it. The sailor vows to stay with her forever on this deserted island, far from any shore. So if Ariana is playing the lead, where's Elise? You walk back into the gloom of the backstage area and look around. Amidst the tattered clothes of the ghostly fuss, you spot someone else. Lise is standing in the shadows, nodding along with the singer on stage and fidgeting. You watch her take a few small steps to the side, make a spin, and raise her chin and open her mouth, as if she's belting a note. Then she bobs her head from side to side, looking up at the ceiling and mouthing a long series of words. Her pointer finger bounces along with her double-time recitation, tracing small shapes in the air. One of the masked actors places a hand on Lisa's shoulders and leans in closely. You alright? Lisa turns to look at them and flashes a tight smile.
Yeah, just going through it one last time.
We're going on any second, I think. That's the last coda.
Yeah.
We'll do fine.
Thanks.
The voice of the singer on stage fades, and the orchestra winds down. You see several actors begin exiting on the left side of the stage, and the curtains begin to close for the next scene. Dozens of stagehands rush past Lise, and the other actors to begin moving pieces of the scenery and setting up the new scene. They set up several large fake rocks and tufts of grass, and then they wheel in a giant metal painting from the background. It depicts a steel gray sky and line of rocky sea cliffs under heavy, brooding clouds. From somewhere backstage, you start to hear sounds like crashing waves and hissing sea spray. The stagehands disperse as quickly as they came, and one tall, older man walks across the stage to give the scene one last inspection. He pushes one of the large rocks a few feet forward, and asks Elise and the actor goes. He walks to the other side of the stage and disappears from view just as the curtain begins to open again. The light hits the newly arranged stage, and the actor ghosts begin to file out in a line. They begin wandering around the stage, and you watch some of them half-heartedly dance by themselves while others fall to their knees and start to cry. They do their pantomime in silence, which adds the eeriness to the whole scene. Then the strings of the orchestras creep in, and some of the actors begin to sing. Their chorus starts off soft, but builds into a haunting chord that rises and falls at the sound of the crashing waves. Out of the shimmering, cruel sea our loves have gone. Under the darkening skies we're left alone. Lee steps closer to the edge of the curtain, nodding her head in time with the beat of the music. You walk up and stand beside her, looking out at the theater. From what you can tell over the glare of the lights and the shadows of the auditorium, every seat is filled, even the balconies. Suddenly, there's a lull in the music, and Lee steps out onto the stage. She takes one graceful step into the light, clasps her hands in front of her stomach, and begins to sing. When I hear I love you, the loneliness seems to grow. So still I stand here in the cliffs and I pine. And how hollow to follow those words when you know. It's the last time we'll see the stars shine. You're struck by the smooth transition of her voice. From silence to full-bodied melody. It meshes perfectly with the ghost's wailing chorus, creating a pristine harmony that rings out across the theater. Lise walks slowly across the stage as the other ghosts swarm around her, reaching out to touch her but never quite doing so. You walk out of the shadows of this backstage and join them. Your eyes are fixed on the wistful, sad expression on Lisa's face. She's a real actress. Lise doesn't seem to notice the ghosts around her, and continues singing as she strides closer to the edge of the stage, which is studded with fake rocks. You follow behind her, along with the rest of the ghosts. Am I to tread these cliffs alone forevermore? Or shall I join my love in the cruel, crashing sea? Lee steps up onto the lip of the stage and seems to teeter there, holding a long note while the rest of the ghost voices rise up in a reinvigorated chorus. Join us in the waves, join him in the waves. There's no loneliness in the waves. You walk to the edge of the stage with Lise and look down. In the darkness of the orchestra pit, you can see water glistening. You blink and do a double take. You catch the dim glint of tin around the edge of the dark water. Is that a miniature pool? I can't expect. You look toward Lise, who's lowered her voice to a quivering tenor. Down in the crashing, cool waves, there is no loneliness. The chorus of ghosts raises their voice at a crescendo that rises into a cacophony, and just as it is about to become unbearable, they all go quiet. In the deafening silence, Lisa lets out a ragged, despairing cry and leaps off the stage. You watch her plunge 6 feet straight down and hit the water with a terrific crash. Some of it splashes over the sides at the deep top and the audience gasps. The ghosts gather around the edge of the stage, looking down into the darkness. None of them say a word. Then, a single violin begins to play a slow, lonely version of Lisa's last stanza, decreasing the tempo until it arrives at the end of the chord progression. In your head, you can already hear the last note, but the violin keeps slowing down further and further, stretching each note. When it finally comes time to finish the stanza and complete the chord though, the violin stops. There's a long space of silence as the audience waits for that final note to make the song complete, but it never comes. The ghosts disperse across the stage, extinguish the footlights one at a time, until there's only one left. When the last light is blown out, the ghosts pick up the little lamps and start to drift off backstage until there's only one left. They too start to walk off stage, but stop with their back to the audience. There's a hiss of a match, and the ghost turns around. They're holding a relit lamp, which they sat down on the stage. They glance around the audience, sigh, and then disappear as stage left. The curtains slowly begin to close until they obscure the little lamp. You're left standing alone on stage, looking at thousands of shouted faces. You glance down at the pool of water, but there's no sign of Lisa's red hair. Quiet lingers over the auditorium for a few seconds, and then, almost as one, the audience begins to clap. The sound grows until it's a landslide, and you see some people standing up and raise their applauding hands over their heads. Below you, you hear the sound of something breaking water. You look down and see Lisa's head appear from the darkness, gasping for air. One of the members of the orchestra, the cellist, leans across a small wooden railing and offers her hand as Lise stands up in the tub. Lise notices the hand, breaks into a smile, and shakes it. She spins around and you look into the direction of her gaze. The curtains part slightly and Ariana emerges, followed by the sailor actor and a small cast of other characters, about 8 in all. They walk to the edge of the stage and you see Ariana get down on her knees and help pull Lisa back on stage, with the water still streaming from her clothes. The audience cheers and half a dozen stagehands emerge from the wings to begin moving the tub away. The conductor of the orchestra turns around on his podium and gestures to the cast, then the musicians. When the audience has finished cheering, he descends and the musicians begin standing up and walking to the wings. Around you, cast members begin to laugh and whisper to one another. They start to sit down on the edge of the stage with their legs dangling out the side. The applause dies down and audience members begin rising from their seats. You see dozens of audience members in the front rows rushed forward to talk to the cast members. You crouch down behind Lise, watching several people about her age gather around her and begin handing her flowers, little boxes, and a wine bottle. Lise takes the gifts and sets them on her lap, all while thanking and joking with them. Ariana and the other cast members are surrounded by mobs of fans as well, and you notice that most of the audience members aren't Lisa's parents' age. They're in their early 20s. It's like an operetta or something, for the young people, not the rich old blue bloods. Another group of fans elbows their way over to Lise, but she seems to recognize them.
Xander, Nini, found ya! Oh, everybody made it!
The group is a mixture of girls and guys, but all of them seem to know Lise. She leans down to hug them and feel the girls kiss her on the cheek. You are magnificent. Stole the show, no question. What was that? You see Ariana lean over to join the conversation, smiling mischievously.
Who stole the show? Me.
Wait, her dress changed. She was dressed as a mermaid, but this dress is... Ariana opens her mouth in mock shock, puts both hands on her cheeks.
My own understudy. I've been betrayed.
Ariana breaks into laughter. Lise giggles along with her as Ariana helps and wraps an arm around her shoulder. This must be how Lise always remembers Ariana, as Oliviana.
Come a long way, my little fish wife. But that ending, did you really jump in the water? Yep, I'm all wet, aren't I?
Ariana leans down to speak to the girl over the din.
You want to know the really impressive thing? When you do that play and you play Lisa's part, there's a tradition. A long-standing one. The actress who plays the widow has to keep her head underwater and not come up for air until they hear applause. So, if they don't do a good job, and they don't hear that applause, they don't come up.
The group around Lise gasps and laughs incredulously, but Lise cackles.
I got my applause, didn't I? I could feel the vibrations from under the water. They went nuts. They did.
You notice two well-dressed young men squeezing their way close to the stage, and Lisa's friends let them through. Both of them start talking at once, so it's hard to hear what they're saying. One of them holds up a white rose and shouts, "Please, my lady, would you go to dinner with me?" The other one thrusts a pink rose toward Lisa's knees and tries to push the first guy back. "Your singing was incredible. Please let me take you to dinner." Ariana laughs and grabs Lisa's shoulders.
Oh no, the price of fame.
Lise giggles and wipes some of the water from her brows. She puts one knuckle to her chin and gazes down at two suitors.
Who should I pick? Well, unfortunately, gentlemen, Miss Elise needs to change out her costume and get dried off before she can go anywhere. So you have to wait patiently.
The rest of the cast is already beginning to stand up and head backstage. So Ariana does as well. She helps Lise get up and escorts her, arm in arm, back behind the curtain. We follow behind them, passing through the curtain, and walking behind them as they weave their way through the cramped, dark corridors to the lower level. Then they get back to the dressing rooms, and both of them head through the door and marked with Ariana's name.
Home, sweet home. Well, how do you feel? What was it like to know your first production?
Lise takes off her jacket and pants and folds them on the arm of the couch.
It feels like everything I hoped it would be. Oh god, I'm relieved. Relieved? What do you mean? Well, some people just collapse. All the rehearsals, the training, the nerves. They just get back to their dressing rooms and lie down on the floor.
Lise gives a short laugh and shrugs.
I know that I'm gonna be absolutely exhausted tomorrow, but right now, I feel like I could outrun a horse. Or outswim one. You took that dive pretty well, from what it looks like. Here, let me help you get the undergarment off. It'll stick to your skin.
Ariana sits herself down on the couch and begins unbuttoning Lisa's shirt.
Come a long way, huh? From being a bright-eyed little girl helping me out of my costume. Now I'm helping you out of yours. I wouldn't have gone this far without you. Honestly, it's like a dream. That's what I like to hear. Like I said, some people aren't cut out for this, but you and I, we take it to like ducks to water.
Oh my. Ariana pulls out the shirt and tosses it in the large tin tub near the couch, where her own mermaid tail sits.
Oh, you have a bucket. That's smart.
Lise throws her jacket and pants into the tin tub, leans back on the couch, sighing contentedly. She has a faint smile on her face, but as Ariana goes back to taking out the rest of her own costume, you see Lise shiver.
That water gets cold after it soaks into your clothes. Tell me about it. You have 1 scene in the water. I have 4.
Lise rubs her arms and shudders again.
Got a towel? Yeah.
Ariana tosses Lise a white towel from the vanity, then reaches into one of the drawers and takes out a ball made of smoked glass.
This is what I use between scenes. Even when they towel me off, it's still cold. It's the hard stuff. Ooh, whiskey. What? No, we're not animals. It's rum.
Lise laughs and takes the bottle, lifts it to her lips, then takes a long swig. She swallows, then grimaces slightly before giving a little gasp.
That's got a kick to it. Yeah, be careful. It's practically medicinal.
Ariana takes the bottle back, takes a sip, and then stashes it in the drawer. She sits down on the couch again and leans back. We'll get into the champagne later, and I'll keep you warm for now. Let me take a look at something. Okay, it's just DY.
In 2 years, if you keep jumping in that tub and don't break your legs, you can easily play the lead in this one. You think? Oh yeah, you got the range and the charisma. The love finale's long. That's actually the easiest song. It's the intro that's hard. But after you start an operetta, that's where things get interesting. In 4 years, you could start picking your own parts. 4 years? I'll be gone by then. What do you mean, go? Oh, right. The academy. Yeah, that'll be the end of my performances for probably a couple years. Oh, that's such a waste. Your 20s are when you're at your prime. I know. And there's no way to talk to your parents out of it? Even if I talk to them? No, they're set on it. And I've kind of resigned myself to it. I've actually got a plan. What's your plan? I'm gonna get an artificial body and... What? No way. You can't give up all your singing talent for a new body. No. I got it all figured out. You know Yashara? The actress with the artificial body? The one that has all those really wild dance routines. Yeah, that's dancing. She can't sing. Well, my parents spoke to a couple of people, and they say there's some artificers who are working or building a full replacement for the vocal cords and lungs. It's like an organ in your chest. It'll take a while to practice with it, but they said it should be intuitive for someone like me.
Ariana's face falls, and she puts her hand on Lisa's head.
Oh, Lise. What? It's such a waste to take all of this.
Ariana gestures at her.
And throw it all away. How can you trust a bunch of surgeons and metal workers to make you a new body?
Lise shakes her head and smiles.
I'm gonna design it. It's gonna be a work of art. Porcelain, gold, everything. I'll be able to dance, sing, and act. I won't have to wear a corset or stuff my bra, or worry about wrinkles or my weight, or worry about my throat getting irritated. I'll be perfect every time I get on stage.
Ariana tilts her head and raises one eyebrow, smiling a little.
You're really serious, aren't you? Well, if you're sure, I'll be in the front row for your performance on the opening night, as soon as you're back. It'll only take 30 to 40 years.
Ariana laughs.
Oh wait, by then I'll have nothing to do. Speaking of which, what are your plans for later? The after party's having a few streets down in about half an hour. But you've got two boys out there desperate to have you to themselves.
Lise sighs and grins. She steeples her fingers on her stomach and taps her fingertips together.
I don't know. They were both pretty cute. And you don't know them? They just came to the show and saw you? I guess so. I don't recognize them at all. And that's it. The sign that they really bought it. But what? You. Hook, line, and sinker. They saw you on stage and that was enough.
Lise smiles wildly and giggles.
That was enough.
You feel the wind blowing across your face and smell fresh grass and the musky scent of animal dung. When you open your eyes, you find yourself standing in the middle of a moonlit field.
Ooh, let me take a look at this background.
Oh, you're so pretty.
Oh wait. Is that the barn?
Well, please have that boy.
Maybe. I save.
You look around and spot lines of wooden fences, hence her animals in the huge shattered barn. You notice lamps hanging from the fence posts, along with ribbons and decorations. In the distance, you spot a palatial mansion. Its windows aglow with light. Lines of carriages are gathered in front of sprawling steps leading to the entrance, and the fireflies drift through the night air. You turn back to the field and spot another lamp flickering ahead of you, throwing light onto two shrouded figures. You walk close and hear whispered voices, and spot Lisa's red hair. She's sitting on the grass next to another person, and you realize that it's a young man dressed in a formal suit.
What do you think, you know?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Both of them lapse into silence and look out across the field, watching the fireflies floating through the air. You take a seat behind them and wrap your arms around your knees. An old friend of hers, probably. Maybe a boyfriend.
I mean, I'd rather be out here than inside listening to my parents go on and on about their land holdings.
I thought you enjoyed mingling and drinking. I mean, that's all we do when you host your parties.
Yeah, but those aren't my parties. I can act how I want and talk how I want. At these parties, I have to be on my best behavior and watch my drinking lest I embarrass everyone.
Didn't you get drunk at your parents' holiday party last year? I wasn't there, but I heard a rumor.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa's voice becomes grave and a little exasperated.
I was so bored that I just started playing a little game with myself. Every time someone fake laughed at someone else's joke, I'd take a drink. It only took like an hour before I was plastered. That's how obnoxious I was.
Didn't you insult someone or something?
It was one of the old dried up art critics my parents brought in to schmooze. I called her an old wrinkled moose because her nose was huge.
Wait, was that Madame de Lazara?
Oh yeah, it was her.
Damn. My parents had her over this year. She always wears too much perfume.
Yes!
She scares me. She's always seemed like one of those old women that will slap you with all her rings.
I think she tried, but my dad stopped her. I don't really remember it much. I just remember her mouth falling open, her eyes going all wide and shocked.
Lise turns to the boy and imitates the woman's shocked face, which makes him laugh. How much trouble did you get into? Lise sighs and leans back to prop herself up on her hands.
A lot. They said they'd stop my singing lessons and cancel my birthday party. And my dad sat me down and said he was disappointed in me. Which is not something I'd expected. I think my mom's starting to turn him. I guess I'm getting older, so I can't just say she's just a kid anymore.
Yeah. Are they still going to send its on in a few years?
Oh yeah. My mom insists. To her, it'll seal the deal on making the family respectable.
What is your mom?
Oh, she's got the pedigree. Her family's not in question. My dad's family, though.
These motions at the field, then at the barn.
Cattle ranchers. Just as rich, but not as sophisticated. So basically, I had to redeem the past 3 generations by bringing immortality into the family.
It's better than having to go to sea. At least you get to sit in nice buildings and read books for a few decades. Me? I had to go get soaked in sea salt and spend years surrounded by sweaty, stinking sailors.
What are you talking about? The sea is romantic. People give up their families and where to go to sea. See the world, visit exotic ports, and meet all kinds of exciting people.
Yeah, but to get there I had to spend months in a cramped little room making lines on maps. And even when I'm a captain, I had to keep a bunch of lazy idiots on task all the time.
You're such a sourpuss. You'd find a way to make anything sound like a chore.
The guy laughs and shakes his head. Yeah, alright, that's fair. Pass me that bottle. Lisa hands over a square glass bottle and the guy pops the cork and takes a sip. It's just strange to know that one chapter of our lives is over and another one's about to begin. Part of me wishes I'd actually listened to my parents, just so that I'd have some cushier prospects. Lisa reaches out and runs her fingers through the guy's hair, then grips his hand and shakes it gently.
God, Vanya, you haven't been happy since I met you. Live in the moment. You have to find fun where you can, instead of regretting all the things you missed.
Well, that's what I have you for. Vanya leans over and plants a kiss on Lisa's cheek. She giggles and pushes him away.
You smell like whiskey.
Leans back and chuckles, then sets his hand on Lisa's knee. Trying to live in the moment. It's hard to imagine this may be the last time I see you.
Yeah.
Lisa sighs again and shifts herself closer to Vanya.
Everyone from the old group is gone except for us.
Yeah. Xander, Tella, Leona, Circo, Mimi. I got some letters from Leona and Mimi, but they'll stop once I'm at sea.
Those guys are a lot of fun. We're lucky to have such a good crew in the sea of boring, uptight snobs.
Until I met you, I think I would have counted myself among that number.
But you had such talent, no one could outdrink you. I just had to bring it out of you.
Yeah, really saw my potential. Man, did I tell you that I would save up my weekly allowance just to be ready for one of our outings? I knew that as soon as we were out of the town, it was only top shelf for us. You wouldn't accept anything else.
You're welcome for showing you how to live a little.
You did. Really did. Vanya chuckles to himself and smiles, shaking his head. When God's name did you see in me? Lee strokes his face and tucks a lock of curly black hair behind his ear.
I heard someone say that good night out is like a little symphony or comedy. You gotta have the right ensemble. And every ensemble needs a straight man. You know, what's it called? The foil. Mimi was our little ingenue.
I don't know if I said that right.
Xander was the leading man, and you're the one that kept us all grounded, and you played your part to a T. Without you, we would have gotten into a lot more trouble. Remember that time we were at the water garden? You saved our asses.
Vanya grunts and you see his smile fade a little. Is that what I was? Another player in the grand stage production of LYSE'S?
Well, maybe at first, but now you're at the last friend I've got.
Vanya shrugs. Vanya shrugs. You'll make more, trust me, because I'm just glad to be part of the original cast. At least I'll go to sea knowing that I didn't waste my youth, thanks to you. Just don't forget me when you're treading the boards, okay? Lise wraps her arms around Vanya and knocks him close. He slips his arms around her back and cradles her. They stay like that for a few minutes, with Vanya slowly rocking Lise back and forth. I'm gonna miss you.
Me too.
Lise shifts her head on the shoulder so that she's looking behind Vanya, almost straight through you. Her face is melancholy, and her eyes are unfocused. She stares back towards her parents' mansion, letting the silence grow between her and Vanya. Then she curls her lips into a small smile. She laughs under her breath and whispers something in Vanya's ear. Vanya gives a nervous chuckle, cranes his neck back to get a better look at Lisa's face. I think we have had too much tonight. Lisa giggles and bites her lip.
It's okay, it's not a big deal. Think of it like a token to remember each other by.
But Noria's back at the house.
She doesn't have to know. No one's gonna know. We're out in the middle of a field and nobody saw us leave the house.
Yeah, but you and me.
Lisa leans forward and kisses her cheekbone softly. Remember that time you kissed that? What was the name of that bar?
Vanya hesitates for a second. Ty goes.
See, you remember, I was drunk and you were drunk. That was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was never. I mean, Xander was the one you had eyes on from the beginning.
So what? Xander's already married now. That ship has sailed. And this is just a little fun, right?
I'm gonna call cheating on my fiancé a little fun. Please, maybe we should. Vanya separates himself from Lise, untangling himself from her arms and sliding a few inches away. Lise is left sitting on one leg, propping herself up on her right arm. She tilts her head and purses her lips.
Vanya, come on. I don't want to spend this whole night being sad that you're leaving.
Vanya glances away and touches her fingertips together, trying to find something to say. This is weird. I mean, we're friends. Lise reaches out with her other hand and gently sets it on Vanya's arm. From her half-seated position, she stretched her whole body to reach him.
We're always gonna be friends. I just want to show you that.
You watch Lisa's face. You recognize the patterns in her expressions and the flow of the conversation. She's trying to find the thing that will get him to say yes.
I want to show you that you're not just part of my little cast. You're special. And yeah, you're going to have Noria for the next, I don't know, 50 years, but tonight, I'll just have tonight, okay?
Vanya gazes at Lise for a while. She opens her eyes wide and purses her lips, trying her hardest to look cute and sad. I remember that face. fine. But we have to be quick. People are gonna start wondering where we are. Lise breaks into a smile and crawls across the grass toward Vanya. She climbs over his lap and kisses him on the lips and pecks him on the neck. She begins unbuttoning his shirt and his pants. Vanya leans back and props himself up on one arm. His other hand hovers over Lisa's head for a moment, and then his fingers sink into her hair. Lisa slips her hand inside Vanya's pants, then sits up on her knees.
Want to help me with my shirt?
Oh, sure. Vanya fumbles with the buttons on Lisa's shirt, then slides his hands past the fabric to grip her sides. Lise bends over, loosens the hem of Vanya's pants a little more, and then lowers her face between his legs. You see his eyes close and his mouth open a little. Lisa's head starts rising and falling, and you hear a soft, wet sound. The sound brings a flash of a different memory to your mind, and you shudder. I can't watch this. You stand up and turn around, looking out across the field toward Lisa's family mansion. The glowing lamps hanging around the ground still sway in the breeze, and the fireflies are still drifting through the air. When you look closer, however, you spot another light coming toward you. You take a few steps forward and peer through the dark. It's a person. Near the fence. Looks like a woman. You turn back to Lisa and Vanya, but neither of them seem to notice. Vanya's peeling back her shirt, but he seems to be preoccupied. They're going to get caught. Who is it? You walk close to the bobbing lantern and squint, but your eyes can't make it past the glare. Finally, the person passes by you, and you see their face. It's a young woman with blonde hair wearing a party dress. Is this Noria? The girl strides faster now, and you realize that she spotted the pair of them. In 5 or 6 steps, she's standing over them. Vanya? Oh, God. Lisa raises her head suddenly, and you can see the terror on her face. Get off of him! Oh God, Lise! Noria, I can't believe. You're disgusting! Lise scrambles to her feet and holds up both hands to try to calm Noria down.
Shh. It's okay, it's alright. It's all my fault, okay? He did nothing wrong, okay?
Go to hell, Lise. I can smell the alcohol on you. I knew something was going on.
Shh. Keep your voice down, please. Please, can you just let me explain?
You look back to the house and see another lantern bobbing toward the field. Someone else is coming. As Vanya and Lise button up their clothes and try to calm Noria down, their voices only get louder. Noria breaks into tears and Vanya tries to wrap her in a hug, but she pushes him away. When Lise tries to talk to her, all she does is swing a clumsy fist at Lisa's chest. Eventually, Lise notices the other lantern crossing the field. She goes silent and rigid as she recognizes the silhouette. I think that's her mother. Lisa's mother stops next to her, Noria, puts a hand on her shoulder, then looks at Lise and Vanya. What happened? Each word is sharp and cold, and she takes care to emphasize each syllable.
She has hands around his hips and...
Jezreel's eyes narrow and watch her face twist in disgust. You don't have to say anything else, Noria. Her eyes turn to Vanya and she shakes her head slightly. I expected much better of you. Much, much better. God, of all Lisa's friends, I didn't think you would. Never mind. Go back inside with Noria, get cleaned up and beg her for forgiveness. I'll find you in an hour or so, then we can make this alright. Until then,
I ask that you do not speak of what happened here.
Noria raised her face from her hand and cast a look at Lise. What about her?
I'll bring her back in a few minutes. First, I need to have a few words with her.
The last sentence sends a chill down your spine. It makes you think of lashings. Vanya lowers his head and walks slowly past Lisa's mother. And Noria turns away and follows him. She gives one last glance at Lise before she goes, and Lise winces. Once both of their footsteps have faded away, Drezera takes one step toward Lise and holds up her lantern. Lise, I want nothing more than to scream at you. I want to teach you to keep your legs shut the way my father taught my sister, with a broom handle. Your father wouldn't allow that. But if one good thing comes out of this, it's that your father will finally listen to me when I say that you're not the little girl he thinks she raised. It's not. You will be silent. Jezzer shrieks those words, and Lise recoils. You've had your father wrapped around your finger for far, far too long. He won't let me deal with you. No more. Jezzer begins to walk across the field, holding her lantern up so that she can inspect the ground. Come. Lise stays rooted in place. Her mother turns back to look at her and points at her. Come now. No, I'm going to... Jezzer strides forward and grabs Lise by her hair and drags her across the field as she screams. Stop it! Stop! You accidentally fall a few paces behind them and watch Jezzer pull Lise forward, sending her tumbling to the ground. You want to spend your nights in the cow pasture, you little slut? Here's the filth you like. Lise sits up and looks at her hands, which are covered in cow dung. In the lantern light, you can see that she's sitting in a pile of it. Lie down! Lise tries to stand up, but Jezzer grabs her collar and pushes her down again. There is only one way you're getting back into my house, and it's by doing what I say. And if this is what makes to make you understand, then this is what I will do. Now lie down. Lise lowers her head and starts to cry, and her mother stands motionless above her, waiting. After a while, you hear Jezzer whisper. So help me, Lise, I will make every day of your life a living, breathing hell. Your father will never speak to you again. He will never leave this estate. Unless you lie down. Lisa's chest bucks as she lets out a wail, and she puts both palms on the ground and eases herself down onto the grass. Roll from side to side, all the way. Lisa slowly turns onto her side, then rolls onto her stomach, sobbing all the while. Back. Again. Lise rolls back onto her back. I can see clumps of dung in her hair. Her eyes are shut tight, and her face is twisted in disgust. Don't stop until I say so. For a long time, you stand there and watch Lise roll back and forth, until almost every inch of her is smeared with cow dung. Finally, Jezzer crouches down and whispers to her, I know your type, and I know all your little tricks. I was doing them before you were born. You treat your father like an idiot, and you treat me like that. But I know better. I know you down to your nasty little freckles. So if you want to stay as a part of this family, a part of my family, then you'd better start treating me with respect. Jezzer stands up again and looks down at Lise. Go to this stable and ask for an empty stall and buckets of water. When you're done cleaning up, go to the servant's entrance, get yourself upstairs and into your room. Stay there until your father and I come. If anyone sees you on your way to your room, then I will cut off your hair tomorrow. With that, Jezra begins walking back toward the house, striding briskly across the field. Lise manages to sit up and clear some of the dung from her face. She gets shakily to her feet, takes a few steps, and falls to all fours and sobs. Then she gets back up and starts shuffling toward the lights. You smell polished wood and the heady aroma of alcohol and hear the murmur of dozens of voices. When you open your eyes, you find yourself in the Garden of Flesh, surrounded by uniformed students. And unfortunately, this is where I have to stop. I have run out of time. But if you enjoyed what you saw so far, please leave a like, maybe a comment what you think so far. And if you want to play this for yourself, I will put the story page down below. And if you want to watch more of this visual novel, please check the playlist down below. If you want to watch other visual novels, please check my channel. Thank you, and take care.